everyone, it's Christina of CraftyPaws. This is actually the fourth time I'm trying to record this. I get so emotional. I'm having a hard time getting through it, so bear with me, please. This is a special double page layout that I did of my sweet biscuit. I followed a sketch from the SCT magazine National Scrapbooking Day Sketch Challenge, and I'll pop a image of that here. I thought that sketch was perfect to kind of show a series of pictures of Biscuit that kind of reflects where we are today and kind of where we were when I first got Biscuit about 15 years ago. And if you look at this adorable picture of Biscuit, it's of her jumping in the air. We used to talk about how she had a great, incredible vertical leap because she could jump up and her ears would go flying out. She was the cutest thing. And this was in our home in our backyard in California. And this is Biscuit now here in Georgia. And I took a series of pictures, and I thought these series was so cute because it really shows her expression. She's just the sweetest little girl, and oh gosh, she's almost 16 and a half now. And we, a couple weeks ago, had a horrible health scare. We actually thought we were going to lose her. And so I wanted to do this special layout using some Greeting Farm stamps. This is from a retired set. It's this Peter Pan set, and I colored up this little cutie as if she were me, but with slightly lighter colors because I wanted the whole layout to kind of be more in pastel tones. And this Peter Pan is supposed to be my hubby, Mr. CraftyPaws. And then I changed the little tink or fairy into a little bandito. And this is actually another Greeting Farm stamp. It's this little puppy right here from the mini remix set. And I colored up all of these cuties with Copic markers and then fussy cut them out. And I thought, having these Peter Pan images along with Biscuit would kind of capture, I hoped, the story of how I hope Biscuit stays forever young. And that's the title of the layout. These are actually stickers. They're this jewelry box stickers. They're chipboard letter stickers. And I just thought the font was really fun, whimsical, all in caps, so easy to see. They started off white, and I just used some Tim Holtz Distress ink in spun sugar to ink them up just a little bit so they would coordinate with everything. And let me tell you guys, I'll start from the background forward and share with you guys everything that I did to create these layouts. The first thing was I decided I was going to use this beautiful stack called the Lace and Linen Stack. And this was gifted to me, a couple years ago probably, from Priscilla Del Valle, who is a wonderful crafter. She does a lot of resin jewelry and things now, a lot of Disney stuff. I used this beautiful kind of almost fabric-like looking paper for the background. It's like a vertical stripe. And then I had a floral also from that paper stack. And then I used some white cardstock that I inked the edges of with more spun sugar. And I used some die cuts. I used the Tim Holtz Alterations Weathered Clock die, as well as the Prima Vintage Clock die. And I love the intricate kind of center details of this one. So I actually combined that center with this outside, the Roman numerals of the larger Tim Holtz die. And I also used the arms, the clock arms of the Tim Holtz die, and placed them here and there just kind of for some decoration. And that was it for the background layering. Then I printed out the pictures of Biscuit that I wanted to use. I cut these two the same size. This one a little bit smaller, but the same width. And I wanted to just focus on her face looking forward into the future. And this little picture I printed out kind of in a sepia tone, and then I inked the edges with black soot so that it kind of looked like a vintage photo. And then for the journaling, first off, I printed everything out on my computer in a brown font, and I used a distress font. It's a free font that you can download, and I'll put a link in the description box below to that free font because I really love that font style. And for this little caption, I took a quote from Peter Pan, and it reads, "You know that place between sleep and awake, the place where you can still remember dreaming? That's where I'll always love you. That's where I'll be waiting." Sorry. And then for these little, what look like fabric rolled flowers, they're actually from the same paper stack, and I just fussy cut all around them. I pop them up on fun foam or double-sided adhesive or pop dots. I have the this to that. These are really super thick, so the flowers that I wanted popped up really high, I use this one. And then those that I wanted really kind of flatter, I use this Stampin' Up! Dimensionals because they're thinner. And then when I wanted it to be really thin, almost directly onto the paper, but it's super thin, I used some fun foam from the Dollar Tree. And then I added some buttons, and these were just buttons in my stash. And I wanted to add those to add some interest and dimension. And in order to get this kind of gold threading that you see in all of the buttons, I really took my time. I didn't want to just hot glue the buttons on. I wanted that detail as if it was really sewn onto the layout. So I used this Christmas Recollections Baker's Twine, but as you can see, the Baker's Twine has twine, natural color, and gold metallic threads. So I actually pulled them all apart. So each, the Baker's Twine itself has 2 gold and 2 natural threads. So I pulled the 2 gold ones out, and then I used a needle for this big one, but all the little ones I just kind of threaded through by hand. So I have this in a cross, this one as well. This one I have a little knot. I did little knots at the top here and here. And I think those little details like adding real twine or thread through buttons adds a lot to, any project like this. And then lastly, I added some crochet trim here. This, I believe, was gifted to me by Christine, who's Shabby Pink House, and I just used this one piece here. I hot glued that on, following the sketch, and then over top, I added this beautiful pink beaded trim. And by the way, if you notice here on this white cardstock, there were some areas that just had, I thought, a little bit too much white, so I took the Forever Young stamp from the greeting farm, this little sentiment here, and I stamped that here and there, just peeking out on that white cardstock background piece. And all of the colors that you see here, to look kind of more pale pink, I use that spun sugar from Tim Holtz, and to add a little vintagey or antique-y look, I used the antique linen, just to add a little bit of a yellow tinge to all of the background pieces and all the die cut pieces. So I'll read to you the journaling that I did here, and I don't like my handwriting, as many of you know, so I typed all of this out on my computer, and it reads, "When you came into my life, you had already defeated a life-threatening illness after ingesting some pills you had scavenged from a backpack. You were strong, but I had no idea. We've been inseparable, you and I, playing at the beach, hiking in the hills, and training at dog camps. We earned more cross-country flying miles than most people do their entire lives. Then we met Mr. CraftyPaws. He earned your love with bacon and mine with his tireless efforts to make our lives better. You both helped me survive debilitating health issues and 5 career changes. Starting about 5 years ago, you suffered a serious illness that had me taking you to the vet specialist day after day. Somehow, you came through it, but you were never the same. We welcomed Bandito into our family, and there was a renewed bounce in your step. His Havanese hurricane blew in like a fairy, spreading magical pixie dust everywhere he went. And if you notice, for this little puppy here, Bandito, I added butterfly wings so he could be that Tinkerbell fairy. And I used a Martha Stewart punch to do that, this one. And I just used the top part of the butterfly wings because I thought the whole butterfly would be too distracting and too big maybe for this little puppy. And I glittered it with some glitter glue. This is just a Studio G Recollections glitter glue. And I popped that up on a foam dot too, so that has some dimension. And it looks like she's looking up over this way, don't you think? And then to continue, It reads, "We moved again, thank goodness, to a place I could work from home, and you and Bendito could easily go out and enjoy a big grassy yard. So long in coming, and so well deserved. 3 years ago, you suffered another serious illness. I thought I would lose you. Then again last fall, and again 2 weeks ago. Each time you pull through, I am grateful beyond words." And that's my layout share. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you guys are having a wonderful crafty day.